Hey guys, what's up? Synchro here, and I'm going to be going over information just released not even an hour ago concerning the new summoning mechanic. It's link summoning. I'm going to go over the information posted by Italian Yugioh, shout outs to them, and I'm going to be discussing how it can affect the future meta and possible combos that you can pull off. Alright, so, link summon. This is the monster, the Code Talker. It's a cyber type, so a brand new type, link effect monster. And its links are up, bottom left, bottom right. Link materials are 2 or more effect monsters. This card gains 500 attack for each linked monster. You contribute 1 linked monster, negate the effect of a card effect that targets a monster you control, and destroy it. And concerning the links, look at the distinctive link markers. Use these markers to develop brand new strategies. It goes in your extra deck. There are 2 ways of link summoning. Send materials to the grave equal to the link number. You can link summon something from your extra deck by sending the same number of monsters that meet the material requirements written in the card's effect box, whose total numbers equal to the link number, from the field to the graveyard. So you can't use tokens and you can't use pendulum monsters, it sounds like. Decrease materials by using link monsters. Link monsters are treated as the same number of materials as its link number. However, to use them, you must match the requirements written on the card. In the case of the Code Talker, you can use 3 effect monsters because its link number is 3. See? Or use 1 link 2 effect monster and 1 effect monster. So we don't have a picture of a link 2, but I'm assuming that the number 2 would just be there. Pay attention to the direction of the link markers. The zones pointed to by each link marker and the cards in them will be affected by the link monster, and this will create new strategies. So in the case of the Code Talker, it's up, bottom left, and bottom right. And this card gains 500 attack for each linked monster. So the monster itself is a link monster, and the monsters that it points to are linked monsters. You contribute 1 linked monster, negate the effect of a card effect that targets a monster you control, and destroy it. Now, if we look at the new mat, we can see that the zones for the linked monsters are 2 zones in the middle of the board. Now, I'm guessing that when you link summon, you can place it into either of these, and if one is taken up, then you can't obviously put one there. And because it's in the middle of the board, it can affect your opponent's monsters too. And these are the linked monsters. So what was it? Up, bottom left, and bottom right. So this monster, and that monster are all affected. And because all of them are affected, I'm assuming that you can gain this effect too, where you contribute it. You contribute 1 link monster, negate the effect of a card effect that targets a monster you control. So you can literally use your opponent's monsters to negate stuff. That's crazy. So in the first time since Cyber Dark Impact, the placement of your monsters is going to be very important for both players, because both players are going to have to keep an understanding of what link monsters each player can summon. And I'm sure the higher level link monsters will affect more places or more zones. So both players are going to have to be very mindful of it. And because link monsters also have link markers on the left and right of them, right here and right here, I'm assuming that that other link monsters can affect other link monsters. So because the Code Talker gains 500 attack for each linked, if you have another linked monster, then it'll count that as well, if this was highlighted anyway. and more information regarding link monsters and how they can be used. When the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. When a player special summons a monster to one of them, that zone then becomes treated as part of that player's field, and the other then becomes treated as the other player's field. The tactics of the duel will change drastically depending on who can grab an extra monster zone first. An extra deck monster can only be summoned to the extra monster zone, but if you summon a link monster to one of the extra monster zones first, you can utilize it to its max potential. Extra deck monsters like Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link cannot be summoned to the main monster zone. Beware. What has been the monster zone up until now, the main monster zone, the pendulum zone is on the left and right of the spell and trap card zones. You can use it as a normal spell and trap card zone, but when you place pendulum cards there, it is treated as a pendulum zone. The zones pointed at by the link markers can be used to bring out extra deck monsters. Although extra deck monsters can only be summoned to the extra monster zone normally, if you have a link monster in the extra monster zone, the zones pointed at by their link markers can be used to summon extra deck monsters. So if you get out a link summon quickly, you can bring out Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monster in succession. Of course, you can summon another link monster in one of these zones, but if you play your cards right, you can fill your entire monster zone with extra deck monsters. The new metagame will require careful consideration of where to place monsters. This information is a lot to take in, but let me break it down. So if we look at the new game board, if you summon a link monster here, and it's the Code-Talker, because he points to the bottom left and the bottom right, you can place extra monsters here and here. But, kind of a double-edged sword, because he also points up to your opponent's zone, it means your opponent can place extra deck monsters here. So possibly we'll be seeing link monsters that maybe have some crazy effects, but don't point anywhere towards your monsters and gives your opponent a bunch of zones to work with for extra deck monsters. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see for effects like that. I do kind of have a problem though. I don't know how it'll be treated for pendulum summoning. I don't see anything for pendulums in this box here, so it could either affect it or not. But if you have a pendulum scale up, can you summon pendulum monsters only to where the links are pointing to, because they're being summoned from the extra deck? I don't know about that right now. I guess we'll have to wait and see for something like that as well. I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like link summoning is gonna really destroy the game, to be honest. Like, you can still summon extra deck monsters, one right away, but like, that's just one, and all the previous strategies that almost every single deck that summons extra deck monsters have created in the past are just completely destroyed. Like this goes beyond drawing only 5 at the start of a game and having 2 field spells. This just fundamentally changes the entire game and how it's played. Like, it's gonna feel like a totally different game now. I don't know how to feel about this for the time being. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on what happens. So I'm assuming that since card placement is going to be very important to link monsters, they're going to be printing more cards that would potentially force your opponent to play their monsters in specific link spots so your monsters can gain more effects. I'm just assuming that right now, but that seems logical. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and Sang it out.